Welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be doing another unsolved mystery case. So we are going to be talking about the case of Amber Wilde, who disappeared on September 23rd of 1998, and she was 5'2". I've seen the range of 5'2" to 5'6", and the range of 135 to 150 pounds. So those are kind of big age gaps, or not age gaps, but like ranges. So I'm not exactly sure. I've seen 5'2" on 2 websites, and I know I've seen 5'6" somewhere, but I haven't seen anywhere in between those two. But 5'2" or 5'6", definitely a big difference in that. And the weight is not that big, not that crucial, I feel, in a missing persons case, as when someone goes missing, they can lose weight, especially if they're like held captive somewhere, and their weight is not going to matter in that case, but their size will never change. So I'm not exactly sure what size she is. I'm leaning towards 5'2", as I've seen that more than 5'6", but I thought I'd let you guys know that 5'6" is one that I did see other places. So she did have brown hair and brown eyes, and she was 19 years old, and she was a student at University of Wisconsin in Green Bay, and she was a junior in that college, and she was studying to become a pediatrician. So that was her passion, and she loved kids ever since she was younger, and so she grew up and she decided she wanted to be a peds doctor. So she did disappear on the 23rd, and one of the main I'll give you the events of the day first. So she was heading to class that day, and she accidentally rear-ended somebody on her way to class. And she did, they exchanged information, they planned to call each other and like connect their insurances so they could deal with all that stuff later. But she wanted to get to class, so she got to class, and she went to see the school doctor, or like the school nurse or whatever, and she told her that she probably did suffer from a minor concussion. And so she got in the car, and later that day she called her dad and told her that she had this excruciating headache, like lots of like pain in the head, and she just wanted, she was worried. She was just generally worried about it, and so she had her dad she told her dad to call her in the morning to make sure she got up for class. Her apartment was fine, nothing looked suspicious, but her car was missing, and that was weird, especially because he called her and she didn't respond. So he didn't have any contact with her. Her car was missing, the apartment was fine. And then later, they did find her car at Lambeau Field. I'm not exactly sure where. I know it's in the same like area. It's not like miles and miles and miles away, like hundreds of miles away. It's in the general area, but they did find it. It was unlocked, and it still contained her purse, her keys, and her cell phone. Her cell phone was still plugged into like the cigarette lighter port. It was still in there, and it was still charging. And her purse was in the trunk, which is weird. I'm not exactly sure what would incline her to put it in the trunk, unless she was like carrying it and like her purse, and then she went to grab something out of the trunk, she set it down in there, and then maybe she was abducted and they shut the trunk and they didn't like put 2 and 2 together. That's my only thought on how the purse could be in the trunk. Otherwise, I'm not exactly sure how that all managed together. But the cigarette and the phone charger makes sense to me. Maybe she was just running in to like do something, so she left her phone in there to charge, and she was going to be back in a minute. But they did notice that maybe she left, if she would have left the car there and disappeared. But one thing they did notice, her dad noticed this actually, she was small. Her dad said she was 5'2". That's why I think it's 5'2", but I did see 5'6" on other sources. But that she was short, super short. And so when you drive, you have to move your seat up super close so that your like feet can reach the gas and the brake pedal. But when he went to look at the car, the seat was like all the way back, and there's no way her legs could reach it that way. So either somebody took the car and ditched it and didn't like remember to put the seat back, or she was riding with somebody and they drove and she was in the passenger seat, or maybe she was in the trunk with her purse. They put her in the trunk with her own purse, and they drove and dropped it, and then maybe they met somebody up at that field. I don't know. But that's just something that is sketchy and inclines us to believe that she didn't leave the car there herself, that somebody else ditched it there. So that was weird. And he also noticed that she did get her car, like, is it detailed? I think it's detailed, where they go and they like get it all cleaned up and check all like the stuff. and they checked her mileage on there, and that was just 2 days prior, and her dad went to look at the mileage, and there was 900 new miles on there, and there's no way she could drive that far in 2 days. 900 miles that's not even, like, they usually say it's about a mile a minute. So, like, it's just, like, there's no way, especially if she's just, like, going to, like, her apartment in college, and if she worked somewhere nearby, like, she's not going to live somewhere or go to work somewhere that's, like, 300 miles away. Like, it's just not possible. It's not feasible in anyone's mind. So there's no way. So those were 900 unaccounted miles that they have no idea where they came from. So that's another reason why they don't believe that someone took her car and ditched it at the field, not herself. So that is the general information. And so when they went and talked to the family, they talked to her aunt, because that was someone that she was very, like, she confided in, and she told, like, everything to, and she was very comfortable with her aunt. And so that was one of the first people that she went to. And she went to her aunt, and she found out that Amber was pregnant, and she was 4.5 months pregnant, and she was the dad was Matthew Schneider, and the two of them met at a party, like they met at a party, and she was like 4.5 months ago, and I think she was 4 months pregnant, and so that added another lead, and another, like, suspect to look into was the father. And so as they talked more and more about the aunt, they came to realize that he denied this child. He denied her. He denied his family, like, all of, like, anything to do with her. He just denied it, and he definitely denied the pregnancy. And he pushed for an abortion, like, she pushed heavily for the abortion. And key information in this case was Amber kept a detailed diary. She had things from, like, who she spoke to, exact memories. She went in details, events, like, all, like, gruesome detail, where some police officers were bashful while reading these because they were so detailed, and they, like, especially about, like, her sexual life, like, there was just so much information there that they were just, like, they felt uncomfortable reading it. That's how detailed these diaries were. And she had details, like, encounters of her and Matthew and their, like, sexual relationship and all of that. But he went on to deny that he didn't even know her, that he saw her a few times and they had a couple conversations, but it was nothing like they were trying to, like, make it out to be. And so he denied that, and he made threats that if she didn't get an abortion, he was going to hurt himself, or he was going to hurt the baby when it was born, or he was going to hurt her. Like, he made these kind of threats and allegations towards her, as he did not want this child. And as they looked more and more into him, as he became more and more of a suspect, as they read these diaries and heard things from her aunt, they found out that he had a fiance, and the fiance's name was Heidi. And Amber told him that you need to tell her, like, you need to tell her that you're carrying someone else's baby, you need to tell us about, like, our relationship and all that. And he's like, no, you're just gonna have an abortion, we're just gonna leave this, you're not even gonna be a part of my life anymore, I'll go back to my life with Heidi and I'll be happy, and you go on your way, get the abortion, it'll be fine. And Amber was like, no, I'm having this baby, like, you need to tell her. And he wouldn't. He was basically in denial of this pregnancy. And so Amber took it upon herself to confront Heidi about this information. And she told Heidi about the baby and their relationship. And she told Matt's mom. So she went above and beyond to make sure that other people knew that she was carrying his child, and that she was, because I feel like that's important, especially with the mom. Like, you're going to want to the baby's mom to be involved, along with the dad to be involved in the child's life. So he denied the relationship. Heidi denied the relationship to the police as well. And so that was super sketchy as well. And so one of the theories, what the aunt will tell you happened to Heidi is that, sorry if you hear that noise, that is my cat. I apologize. But the main theory that Heidi's aunt believes is that she is buried under a highway. And that may sound like totally, like, crazy, like, how do you bury someone under a highway? But Matt was a highway worker. And at the time, Highway 29 was being built in Wisconsin. And so he was the highway builder for that, and they believe that he murdered her and built the highway on top of her and put her in the highway system. And so that is what everyone believes happened, as there's lots of motives for him to kill Amber, and it would be an easy disposal site, as who would look up to dig up a highway because it'd be so long. There's so much to dig up, and they have dug up parts of the highway looking for her body, but they haven't been able to find anything yet. And I mean, highways are miles and miles and miles and miles long. Like, it'd be almost impossible to find her body and dig. You can't just dig up a whole highway and search for her body. Like, it's just not feasible. And all that money went into building the highway. Like, there's just no way. But he did have a worker that his all I could find was Petite, Pettit. The person, I know a person that has that last name, and she pronounces it Petite, but I'm not sure if it's like, I don't know. But I don't know if there wasn't any first name that I could find. This is the only name that I could find. And so they found out that him and Matt were working together to build the highway. Well, obviously not like the whole highway, but they were like together. They were partners that built like sections of the highway. And so they went and they asked Petite, and he told them, like, I've only known him for like a few months. There's no way I'd like help him like murder and bury a body and all of that nonsense. But Heidi came out and said that no, they know each other, like they've known each other way before the job. And I believe I even heard that Matt asked Petite to like do their wedding ceremony. So, I mean, you're not just gonna ask somebody that you've been working with for 2 months to do your wedding. Like, you're gonna do like a long time best friend or like a family member or someone that you have a great relationship with. So that's suspicious. And when they asked Petite what he was doing on that night, he claimed that he saw a movie and he went to dinner by himself. And when they asked him to do a polygraph test, he denied doing a polygraph test, and he denied he didn't have an alibi. Neither him or Matt had an alibi that night. So, suspicious? I think yes. But, so neither of them have an alibi, and everyone believes that Amber was murdered and placed under the highway, which is really sad because she was on her way to be a pediatrician doctor. Like, that's such a great goal, and something that no one just disappears from doing such a large goal. Most people that have that ambition live and just breathe for that, and they just want that so badly. And to think that that was taken away from her, and her little bundle of joy is what she called it, and she was so excited to have this baby, especially because she was going to be a pediatrician doctor. She loved kids, so that was like a perfect thing for her, and she doesn't even get to enjoy that anymore. And her family and her friends, they don't get any closure with this. And so that's really all the case has. And that was I feel there are other theories that go in this case. Like, one of them is maybe she got amnesia from the rear end car accident, and she just forgot her whole life, and she just like picked up and started somewhere new. But I think that's way too far-fetched, especially because it was like a rear end accident. It wasn't like a head-on collision, like both cars just like mangled together. Like, it was a rear end. Like, you can get a concussion, but I feel like amnesia is really far-fetched, even with her extreme headaches that she was having. But other than that, those are the only two theories. The highway, she was murdered and buried on the highway, and then the amnesia theory, which is very loose. There's like no evidence to support that besides that she had the headache, and she complained heavily of that. But other than that, that's it. Like, there's nothing to like connect. Like, they saw like they saw this like girl that didn't even remember her name, or like nobody communicated with anybody similar to those circumstances. So there was no evidence to support that theory. So I think that one is been pushed away, and the main one they focus on is the Highway 29, as they are destroying and like rebuilding areas in search for her body. So I believe that is all the information that I have in this case. And if you guys have any more information, or you have any theories or thoughts or comments, or if I spoke any information, please leave it down below, and we can clarify any information that I have wrongly said. Or even if you found more information, the amnesia theory or the Highway 29 theory, or maybe Petite, if you learn more about him, please just leave it down below. And yeah, if you guys are enjoying these videos, please give them a thumbs up and subscribe down below, and don't forget to share them and get them out to your friends, and especially people in Wisconsin, in hopes that maybe someone has information on this case and they can spread the news, and maybe someone can come forward and they can finally get Matt and put him away for good, as I believe that is what happened in this case. And as the case is unsolved, I believe it is solved in a way that they know who it is, they just can't get him to justice, which is sad, which is awful, which you wish you could just, you know, in your gut, like, you wish you could just, that would be enough to prosecute someone, but it's just not. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye, guys.